Hi kids, welcome to this week's video. I can't remember what day this is supposed to go out on, probably Tuesday. As the title suggests, I'm going to see, it's currently Saturday here, I'm going to see the Welsh hip-hop exhibition that's been running in Cardiff Museum for the last half a year, maybe a bit longer. I've been meaning to go and see it, but it's one of those things, you don't get the time and the money to do it. So I'm going to catch it before it closes tomorrow. I think tomorrow is the last day on a Sunday, so I'm trying to catch it on a Saturday. And as I may have alluded to earlier, as far as I'm aware, I hope I'm proved wrong, but as far as I'm aware, my band's contribution to the Welsh hip-hop scene, or at least a little bit of recognition, is nowhere to be seen. Firstly, like I say, I hope I'm wrong about this. Let's go there, have a look around, see get a grip of the actual facts before I start getting a little bit too soapboxy. And we'll talk about it when I come out. Okay, let's go. At the train station, this place, in fact, where you can see behind me, was first featured in the original pilot for the BBC sitcom Porridge. The pilot was a short film called Prisoner and Escort, starring Ronnie Barker and Fulton Mackay, etc. And the very first scene was set on that platform there, where Fletcher is supposedly arriving up north to start his prison sentence with the two prison wardens. I shall put a little... I can't link it, I can't find it anywhere, but I do have a little thing in screen here, you'll see this. Never mind that, let's go to Cardiff. Right, anyone remember this place? It's where they filmed quite a few episodes of Doctor Who. So we got to go upstairs apparently. I wonder if these two lads, they're not identified, but I wonder if they have been to this exhibition. That could have been me, except that's a bit young, I think. Although I did have a Volkswagen sign. Right. Up the stairs. There he is. The man, the legend, DJ Jaffa. Nice chap. Right, let's go in. Okay, time to record. So, not the biggest exhibition in the world, but, you know, plenty covered. Loads about the early days of breakdancing. A quote from Eric Martin, aka MC Eric, or Me1. Obviously, 1985, I got into rapping. I was breaking around 1982, 1983. This is Cwmbran. Hip-hop culture landed in Wales in 1982, spreading across communities. New friendships formed around a share of the music, graffiti and breaking, etc., etc. Plenty of quotes. That's from Ron Wunna Designs, and that's obviously some of his stuff, I guess. Yeah, it was all about designing and lots of flyers and slip mats, Jaffa's belt there. And the Electro albums and the Run DMC tour program, the Newport Centre gig with Public Enemy and Derek B. I was there. I might even still have my ticket. That was a heck of a day, that was. I got away from Chuck D. What have we got here? More of the Welsh scene all over the place. Some nice video from way back in the day, graffiti, and concert footage from 4D, known back then as MC Melody, and DK and Jaffa on the decks. Man, that was some time ago. Go on, 4D. And yeah, I mean, you know, every now and again I bump into 4D. There we go, there's the flyer. Einstein from Musical Life Records with Asher D and Daddy Freddy. I was there at that gig. Shabonia's Mertha, I played that gig. I was on stage there with my DJ case at the time. There's the ticket for it, designed by Ronnie Wunna, I think. Yeah, that was the hip hop party, the big one in Merthyr. What we got here, hip hop has been a powerful tool. So speaking out against injustices. Well, maybe we'll talk about that later on. Giving voice to their lived experiences, allowing them to be heard. That's slightly ironic, given what I'm talking about later on. Plenty of graffiti, plenty of posing. Man, this takes me back. You know, I did graffiti, I DJ'd, I was a break dancer, and I was a rapper. So I did a bit of everything. Some glossary of terms in case people didn't quite get half of these things. But yeah, we've got here. Not sure when that was. Huge picture of Jaffa there. Eric, Martin and Jaffa there. Obviously they were the first to make it onto a big record label, Jive, under the name Just the Deuce, as it says there. And then Eric went off to join Technotronic briefly. You know, there's a Smash Hits, I think, yeah, Smash Hits, there you go, MC Eric. And he popped up my local pub once to do a rap sesh back in the late 80s. Here we go, Def Reggae, Word 4, Technotronic album. This is an early one, a Welsh group called BLKCLINICAL, probably the first Welsh language hip-hop track. There you go, first hip-hop track, Dal Di Drais by BLKCLINICAL. So yeah, Blaenau Festiniog they were from. I got a feeling they're still going. That record was jumping at the time. I had to move it forward. Yeah, so you can see some artwork in the middle there from my man, Junior Disprol. Death Valley is one of his releases. Then you got more Technotronic. Pump Up the Jam, that was. Hung, Drawn and Slaughtered. All the artwork by Junior Disprol. Some not so cool stuff there. What else have we got? Rounder Collective. Goldie Looking Chain. Less said about them, the better. Uber Magnetic. Roughneck Jihad. Junior Disprol again. Yeah, I mean, it's covering a lot of stuff. So what have we got down here? Just close-ups of people's cassette collections. My homeboy Johnny B, the Rhyme Hungry EP. I designed the cover for, not for that one, but for his album The Name. The Underdogs, this was Fordy and Roberta. I met Berta a couple of times, rest in peace. And yeah, let's say I met Fordy around sort of 80, 85, I guess. He was part of the Underdogs there. There's Berta sitting up the back there. And she was a proper mother figure to everyone, and, you know, sorted so many gigs and stuff out for everybody. Obviously that's in Welsh, so I can't translate. More breaking stuff. There's a big breakdancing section there. Graffiti artists as well. Quote from Captain, who's the curator of the museum. Just giving a shout out to everyone who helped. Got some video there. That was a Zenith album. So you got Technotronic, Scritti Politti, I'll talk about that later on, and Eric Martin's other Technotronic hit, Our House. And that's it. Well, there we have it. I've had a good walk round, a good look round, as you can see. All I can say is I'm disappointed, but not surprised. Let's go home and summarize some of this, shall we? Okay, well, I'm back from Cardiff, and like I said, disappointed, but not surprised. Why? Because there was absolutely zero mention of our band Best Shot, or Best Shot Posse as they were first known. Now, why were we not mentioned in this celebration of Welsh hip-hop? There's probably a number of reasons. I think the main reason is that we were seen as a pop act. But that shouldn't disqualify us. Because firstly, we weren't a pop act. The Guinness Book of Hit Singles, which I do have upstairs, classes us as a UK male rap group. All right. But even if we were a pop band, right, then if that disqualifies you from being included in the Welsh oeuvre of hip-hop, then why Goldie Looking Chain, which are a comedy act, they're not a proper rap group, right? I don't care. You may love Goldie Looking Chain, I'm sorry, but they're a spoof. They're no better than Morris Minor and the Majors. I saw a Scritti Politti album in there. And yes, Green from Scritti Politti has actually lived in this town where I am right now for a while, and then Caerphilly, which is just down the road. And he had a very successful pop career, and then later on sort of started playing with hip-hop style stuff. Fine. Lots of mentions of MC Eric and Technotronic. Now, I got to know Eric Martin a tiny bit. He probably don't even remember me back in the day, before he was, part of Technotronic. But I would argue that that's a pop career in itself, right? Second question. Is it an ego thing? Am I bitter? Yeah, I am a little bit. And as far as ego goes, it's in rap, there's a term called getting your props, which is short for proper respect. And we haven't been getting that. There was 5 of us in band, remember, and we worked very, very hard for very little money. We did over 100 gigs, toured the country twice, toured some medium to big size stadiums with E17, 2 records in the charts. One didn't get into the Guinness Book of Hit Singles because it was outside the top 75, but our first single got to 91. Second single got to number 64. And in a way, our manager, Tim Byrne, launched us because he was the music controller at BBC 2 at the time, and we were the first band he ever managed. But in another way, we launched him because he went on to put together 5 and Steps, and is now working with Simon Cowell as a music industry manager. We did a lot. We did all the Saturday morning shows. We did the What's Up Doc, Live and Kicking, Brill. We did the Ozone, the Zoe Ball's program dedicated an entire show to us. We played some important gigs like the Club Ivo Bach Welsh Club did a 1990s anti-racist alliance stroke anti-Nazi league benefit concert, because at the time the racist British National Party BNP had managed to elect one of their members into the Houses of Parliament, and we embodied the whole racial equality thing, so we played on stage there. We were all very proud of that. We played Cardiff Festival outdoors outside the museum. It was absolutely huge, easily like 10,000 people in the crowd. We played Dublin The Point. We played England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland and Wales over a 2-year period. We did a heck of a lot. We had a major record deal. I'm sure some of this qualifies us to get a mention in the Welsh hip hop exhibit. But as I say, there are people who don't consider us worthy of inclusion. I was contacted months before the exhibition by the curator, and he asked me if I could write anything describing how hip hop and rap and everything came together up here in the valleys, which I did, but it wasn't used, none of the quotes or anything. I looked quite hard in the museum for any mention of the band or anything. Nothing. I'm just a little sad because it feels like we're being erased from the story. There are much smaller names, I mean, all the legends are there. DJ Jaffa, Fordy, Junior Disprol, Johnny B, Keltec, Rough Styles, DK, MC Eric, Eric Martin, Chris Jenkins. I could go on and on. There was all these things going on, and along the line, it wasn't just a 2-year career that we had a record deal. I got into rapping in 1985. So it was nearly 10 years before we got a record deal. So we did a lot of gigs. We went all over the place. And I'm sure that would at least justify a brief mention, a word, a picture of one of the records or something, a photo. But no, nothing. And it's, going back to the ego thing. I mean, there were 5 of us in the band. And how many other Welsh rap acts got record deals? There were a couple. There's independent record deals, of course. But we had a major record deal. We were with East West Records, that has The Beloved and Simply Red, amongst others. Ego is a part of hip hop that you can't remove. 95% of all hip hop acts are all about ego, talking about yourself, standing up for yourself, telling your story, telling people how great you are rocking the mic and all that. Just the same as rock music can have dark tones, or talking about partying with the ladies and riding your motorbike and all that kind of stuff. And country is all about being on your horse and doing things as you do down south, that kind of stuff. Everything has their own, every genre has their own sort of thing. But hip hop, rap music has a very kind of egocentric way about it. Of course, there is genres that split off from that. You've got political stuff, daisy age, happy stuff, trip hop, hip house, all kinds of different things around that. There's different things you can rap about. But when you're trying to tell your story and you've been slogging away at it for a long time, it's just a little disappointing that you don't, everything we did. I mean, in Cardiff alone, we played St. David's Hall with E17. We played the ice rink with E17. The ice rink's no longer there. We played the Cardiff Festival, a number of nightclub gigs with big acts and on our own. And there are people who have grown up, who have got kids, who can remember seeing me and the boys in the band doing our thing. But you go to the hip hop exhibition in Cardiff, which is, unfortunately, it's ending tomorrow. It was a good exhibition, I'll give them that. It was a good exhibition. And there's no mention of us. And to add to that, to rub salt into the wound, there is still a Wikipedia hip hop page for Welsh rap and Welsh hip hop. And Best Shot were mentioned in there, but that entry has been taken out. I don't know who did that. I didn't even put the entry in, but I know anyone can edit it, but that's been erased. I had a feeling the boy band kind of tag label that we were given would hang on to us and work against us at some point. But we weren't a boy band. If a 5-piece rap group makes you a boy band, then NWA are a boy band. Public Enemy are a boy band. We put our heart and soul into the songs we did, the records we did, the countless gigs we did, traveling all around the country. For what? Yes, we got, a hard deal from the record company. They were dangling the carrot of an album deal in front of us and giving us one single at a time. And finally, they just gave up on us after we'd played to 100,000 kids up and down the country with E17. They were just waiting to buy a record from us. The record company said, nah, do you know what? We're not going to bother. Kicked us out. That's showbiz, guys. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to risk repeating myself anymore. If you do want me to do a deep dive into the rise and fall of a rap band from South Wales, that's something I might be able to do in the future. I don't know. I'll have to be very careful how I word it. I don't want to upset any apple carts. I don't want to diss anyone. I don't want to dig up any bad feelings. But I will be as honest as I possibly can, and accept as much blame as I'm guilty for. But hey, I came, I saw, I got what I expected, and I will give props to Cardiff Museum and the organisers, Captain Barrett, etc., for putting on the exhibition. It's nice to see hip hop getting recognised, in the city in a big way, even if Best Shot didn't. But That's showbiz, guys. Anyway, that's all for me this week. Take care now. Bye-bye then.